Hi, everyone. Well, it is middle of August. Time and summer is just flying by. And I hope that you're kind of enjoying your staycay at home and maybe enjoying what's in and about your city. So today we're going to talk about how to promote Winnipeg or how to promote your own city. And let's just say that our city might be one of the safest places to live. I know. The cases have gone up again, but still the officials are staying fast by the rules and maintaining, so we still are pretty much open and wearing a personal mask. Well, that's still up to you. Anyways, let's open the doors to all of our great guests today. We have some very special guests, some surprises, and it will be really, really exciting. Also, some new faces. Hi, Dayna. Hey, and hi, Brenda. It's been so long. Oh, there's Charlotte and Robin. Thank you. Yay, and Susie. Always gorgeous with that white J-Lo living room. So jealous, so jealous. Yes, and Eleanor, we can't see you, but hopefully we will shortly. So everybody's unmuted, and I want to welcome Mary and Jaz. So this is kind of like our daily chat, or our weekly chat group, whatever. And we met so many incredible people. But now that we're all here, hi, Eleanor, nice to see you.
Hi, Tracy, how are you?
Good. Oh my God.
I am just here to be in the background, so I'm going to mute and take off my video.
Why? No,
Oh,
we need you in the conversation. Oh my God. Yes, it's so good to see you.
Oh, you too.
Yeah. So anyways, I'm going to start with Dayna. You know, this too is a little bit about celebrating not only our city, but celebrating successes, because for the last, God knows how long, we've just been not in good spaces. So, and then we'll talk all about theater and all of those things that, you know what, they're creative people and theater does go on. So anyways, I want to show this great video courtesy of the Economic Development Winnipeg, Dayna, and it's all about celebrating Winnipeg. So let's show this great video.
Winnipeg. Who are we? What makes us tick? It's our shared history that has molded us into who we are today. We've been brave and stood tall when it was required of us. We are a community, resilient in the face of adversity. We've been told what we can't do. Time and time again, we show them that we can. Winnipeggers make things go and have a clear vision of where to take them. We contribute, we innovate. We're self-starters and we're self-made. We may be known for being easygoing, but we never stop. Though we only occupy a small corner of it, we're big on making the world better. We keep our community connected to the world. We're a vibrant city, excited about our next chapter. Now is the time for each and every one of us to come together to rebuild our city. Winnipeggers have risen to the unprecedented challenge we faced, and we've done it with pride and resilience. Because we are a community. We are Winnipeg, Manitoba. We are back to work and back to business. Be a part of our story.
Wow, Dayna, video like that, especially now, it really resonates in so many different ways that probably when the video, I don't know when the video was made, but wow. I mean, I watched it for the first time and it was just like, yeah, this is true.
It gives us something to be proud about, right, Tracy? I mean, we made this video we started in about June. So just as the pandemic was starting to, we were starting to see light at the end of the tunnel. That's when we wanted to showcase this video, and we really wanted to showcase businesses that have done incredible things. So when you see that video, you see Barb Gammy from Payworks, and they've been operating throughout the pandemic. They've been managing to keep their employees safe. They've been a great source of information for a lot of people that needed information about payrolls and what government programs were and how to navigate through that. You saw Ash Moda from Mondetta. Ash and their team, started making gowns and face masks for hospitals because that was something that they could do. And, there's just great stories. PCL, Price, did really great things throughout the pandemic. And I think it's important that we showcase as a community how everybody came together. And also, Manitobans did an incredible job of planking the curve. We know we're seeing some higher case numbers than we want right now. And that's unfortunate. But as a community, we did what we were told to do. We supported each other, and we're able to go and restart our economy, in many instances far before the rest of the country and the rest of the continent, because we did what we were told. So we really want to celebrate that, and we really want to focus on that. And hopefully, everyone got a couple of goosebumps when they watched that video.
Yeah, no doubt. You know what? I think we tend to obviously get so wrapped up in our little bubble. And okay, so there is one section when they said, we're told so many times that we can't, and then we can, and then it went to the Bombers, and then it went to a certain Grey Cup.
Yeah.
And then and a little bit of today is to celebrate the successes. And oh my God, like Dayna. Besides, Winnipeg, what you've done for Winnipeg and everything like that, but your own personal story, the chair of the Blue Bomber board.
Yeah. I was asked to be on the Blue Bomber board a few years ago, and I, David Asper approached me to do that. And my first response was, I don't know anything about football. I mean, I can't tell you who should be quarterback. I don't know what plays you should do. And David said, Dayna, we want you for your business knowledge. We want you because you can run a board. We don't need you to tell us who should be quarterback. We have people for that. In fact, that's one of the problems I think the board had in previous years, that there were too many people that were meddling in the football aspects of the team. But I was really excited to be involved because it's a community team. And because we, I think that sports are an incredible way to bring together a community. So I joined the board, I became chair, and last January I became chair, or the January before, sorry. And so I was chair for almost a year when we finally won the Grey Cup for the first time in 29 years. So pretty exciting. I actually wore my ring today too, just so you could see it.
I know, it's it's beautiful, big, but
beautiful, but it's big and gaudy and whatever, but it's fun, and I'll wear it probably 5 times, and it's
okay, Dayna, exciting. There's a lot of diamonds on there, am I right?
There is a lot of diamonds, yeah, there is a lot of diamonds.
Amazing.
My guess is 1,000, that's what I'm just saying.
Yeah, I have no idea. Someday I'll count them and we'll figure it out.
But tell us what's engraved inside of the ring, though.
Well, it's very cool. So the ring is actually developed by our players. They got to decide what they wanted their championship ring to look like. And a lot of players, a lot of teams in the past have really wanted the focus to be on the Grey Cup. And we have the Grey Cup on ours. And you probably can't see it very well, but the Golden Boy is on one side of it. The St. Boniface Bridge is on the other side. Our names are on the reverse side. And inside, on this side, and it's going to be very hard to see on the video, but on the inside is the score of the game, and a saying that's above the Bombers locker room, which is FIFO, which has been a kind of a mantra for the team for a long time, and it means fit in or blank off. So it was really important for the players to have that in there. And then on the back side of my ring, First Woman is engraved on the inside. So that's pretty exciting. I'm the first woman to have their name engraved on the Grey Cup. So a very, very proud moment for me.
Oh, no doubt. And hey, I don't know, awesome. What is it? What does it look
you have to make sure that you wear it on both hands, right? So that your biceps don't get too built up on one side. Yeah, you have to even it out.
I have to alternate.
Oh my God. But okay, so what are the, can you tell us, are the guys gonna set foot on the field in this year?
You know what? I will tell you that we are working countless hours right now. I was on the call. I was on phone calls for 4 hours yesterday. I had a call first thing this morning. We're doing everything we can. There's still a few pieces that need to be worked out. So we need to make sure our medical plan is approved by Health Canada. We believe we're very close to that. Our provincial health authorities have been engaged for months now, working on what a health protocol would look like, what the hub should look like. So we think that's there. We've still got a couple negotiations to do with the players and a couple negotiations to do with the federal government. And we had hoped that it would be done by the end of the day yesterday. It's not done yet. So fingers crossed, but it's, you know, there's a lot of hurdles and there's a lot that goes into making a hub city like this work and really asking all of those players to lock down for 15 weeks. I mean, it's an incredible sacrifice, but I saw Paul Maurice when the Jets went into their bubble and he said, you know, no matter what happens, everyone will remember who wins in 2020. And so I hope that we're able to take to that field and then maybe I could get another ring for the other hand.
I think so. Then we wouldn't have to worry about
exactly. Then I wouldn't have to alternate.
Oh my God.
That's the spirit. Yes.
Well, you know, I want to talk more on Dayna, like moving forward now, switching gears and promoting Winnipeg and, you know, what your economic development Winnipeg is going to do. And so
Sure.
We're going to talk about that. But right now I want to switch gears because I know that being creative, that's part of Brenda Gorlick's mantra. And you know what, Brenda, you always end up on the ground, feet running, and, you know, pandemic, Corona, whatever, COVID, not going to stop you. So you know what, it's so good to see that classes are up and running, and you know what, you're trying to keep the theater, arts and entertainment still alive. And congratulations to Jaz and Mary. And well, you know what, I don't know, Mary, is because you're a couple, right? Correct? Are you engaged or?
Yeah, we were supposed to get married in May. Like several people, we've had to postpone our wedding. But thank you so much. Thanks for having us.
Oh, well, yeah, definitely want to hear your story. And, you know, well, maybe Dayna could let Mary, you know, borrow the big bling.
Well, I have my own. So.
Oh, you have your own. Yeah, I know.
You probably like your own better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so Brenda, tell us more on how.
Like what's going on? What's going on in my world?
Yeah, what's going on?
First of all, thanks for having me. It's my birthday today.
Oh.
This is a great way to celebrate my birthday. I got croissants delivered to the door by a student, which is like, okay, I'm in heaven already. So this has been a great day. Dayna, I don't have the bling, but I got something.
Yeah, all good.
So I have, like every other artist in the city, you know, I've been a working artist for as long as Tracy and I have known each other, actually. Tracy and I go way back to Bunhead days. We're both former RWBers. And I've been working in the field of musical theater virtually my whole life. And I run a musical theater company called Winnipeg Studio Theater. So when everything shut down, I was actually in the midst of choreographing the opera Carmen. So on Friday the 13th, March the 13th, it's like Friday the 13th was like bad luck for everybody. Rehearsal stopped, everything stopped. Life stopped for arts, essentially. Our theater production of Frozen, which was scheduled to go on in May, was halted. We were going to go on to, you know, presenting it virtually through Winnipeg Studio Theater. That just wasn't going to happen. And my summer programming was like just gone. So I'm going, okay, I can cry for 2 weeks. Yes, I did that. And then I carried on to go, how do you pivot into a new world? So obviously this is what we're all doing right here and now. And I came up with a program called Made in Manitoba Masterclass Series. And the thought was, there is a masterclass series that runs on YouTube, and it's primarily out of the States. I'm going, why don't we have one in Manitoba? We have great things to offer here. We've got some of the best artists locally, nationally, and internationally. And so when I came up with the concept, I reached out immediately to people that I know personally, either through having taught them or have worked with them on stage professionally. And Jaz and Mary are two of those people. So I reached out to 12 former students, colleagues, and partners in crime, and everybody. And I said, would you be willing to teach a musical theater module online from wherever you are in the world. And at that time, Mary and Jaz were both safely and soundly locked down in New York City. And everybody came back to me with a yes. I had 2 students in Australia that said yes, 1 in England, 3 in New York, 1 in Boston, 1 in Vancouver. So I had 12 working professionals that have been either have a personal connection to Winnipeg, Manitoba, either having been born and raised here and or trained here, and now are off as brilliant working professionals worldwide. So I was like just a super proud mama to bring all these people together and to offer work in as much as it was, you know, a fill in the gap work, because they're all coming off of Broadway shows and they're all like brilliant performers and actors, singer, dancers. But I thought, well, let's use that talent and let's share that talent, first of all, with Manitobans, and second of all, with people worldwide. So the masterclass series literally was up and running in 2 weeks. I don't think I slept for those 2 weeks. I think I recognize what Dayna's going through when she's trying to get a whole football team back onto a field and others on this screen as well. You just go. You have a concept and you go. And we offered the first class online on June the 16th, and Mary Antonioni was our first presenter, and she taught out of her beautiful flat in New York. And Mary, you can fill in that gap now. It was just what that felt like for you.
Yeah, I mean, so I was in the Prom on Broadway, and then I was just doing Aladdin. Somebody needed to be refilled in, so I just came in, replaced them for like a month and left again. And then right out of that, once COVID started and everything was sort of up in the air, especially in New York, it was so amazing to hear from Brenda and also give back to a community that we've been a part of for our whole lives. So it's been really nice to connect back with people from Manitoba, dancers from Manitoba, creative young people coming up from Manitoba. It's been really amazing to connect with them.
Great.
And the students that participated just have been loving it. And so we offered classes like to juniors. The youngest is an age 10 student. So the junior session, intermediate session, and then an adult session. So folks, you can all join in to our adult program. And because round 1 was so successful, the aim of the program actually is to take the masterclass series and expand it beyond the world of musical theater. I want to do an opera series. I want to do a ballet series. I want to do a jazz music series. We have prolific artists here that cover, you know, the entire province. And the sky's the limit. I mean, pipe fitters, made in Manitoba masterclass pipe fitters, I don't care. I really want to take this concept and celebrate everything we have here to offer and take it worldwide. So rather than us having to go out and, you know, find those resources, we've got them here. Let's share them.
Wow.
And we are now doing a masterclass live series. We booked into the week of August 17th, next week, to the 21st. We are going live in a very small COVID safe setting. Drop-in dance studio on Portage Avenue is where we're going to be hosting classes, daytime classes for the week. And again, we've got very small numbers. Everybody is going to be spatially distanced. We have access to masks if masks are not required, but they are optional. We're following all of the COVID-19 protocol. And we're going to see how that goes. But the masterclass series, virtual series, to me is going to be something that stays beyond this month or next month. It's a registered name now. I own it. If you want to share the spotlight with me, let's go for it, because I'm so damn proud of what Manitoba has to offer. And Dayna, just watching that video, I totally get goosebumps. And you remember, I mean, I'm back in Manitoba having worked nationwide as well, but I come back home because this place has so much to offer, and the arts have always been part of what I do. And we just create really strong people. Just to throw the coin over to Jaz. Jaz is somebody that has grown up in the neighborhood with me, and I'm besties with his mom. And Jaz is Mr. Aladdin, as far as I'm concerned. He started the show. No, Jaz, he's not playing the role of Aladdin, but Jaz, you can fill in the blanks there. You've got a wonderful story.
I was a part of the original company of Aladdin on Broadway, and the component that went to Toronto prior. So I've been doing the show for it'll be 7 years in September if we didn't have to leave after this COVID time, which was a very odd thing, finishing a show and not knowing if we had a show the next day, and then I haven't performed since that night. But it's always a joy to come back to Manitoba. Every time I come back, I try to reach out and teach or have a talk back or something, either at Grant Park, which is my high school, or talk to kids at Rainbow Stage, or just connect with the community here, because I found that was the thing that really got me into theater. Seeing shows is wonderful, but interacting with the people after and realizing, oh, they're normal people, and all of that is a huge component to what brought me further into the business. There's certainly some like standout people in my career that have really touched me, and I would like to still be that kind of person for the next generation that is coming up. And this master class is a great opportunity to be able to do that. And I can't wait to try to do it live, because it's very odd, teaching choreography and not being able to see somebody and having to reverse all the time because there isn't a mirror to work with. It's just a little bit of a challenge when we do it online, but the masterclass series is a great way to try to connect with these kids who should still be training right now. Like, we are going to be back to doing theater at some point. We're going to be back to the operas or taking ballet or films and being in the audition room. So using this time that we have right now to still work on that craft is valuable time. You get to like work in a little chamber, and then in a couple months we'll be able to show everybody what we've worked on and learned.
Well, I just wanted to ask for Mary and Jaz, and then the others can kind of, chime into, I mean, we all have our own personal stories on how we have dealt with the pandemic, COVID, isolation, business, and everything like that. For artists and performers, not being able to do something that you spend so much time doing, and all of a sudden, boom. It's like, well, that's no different than the NHL or the Bombers, right? I mean, boom, they're not playing. They can train. What was it like for the two of you personally when all of a sudden, nothing?
My initial reaction was vacation.
Yeah.
Because I 8 shows a week for so many, like I had done the show 2,500 times plus. So getting, in theory, it was a month off. I was like, sweet, my body can relax. I can lay in the park, because at that time, all the protocols weren't as locked down either. And then after that, it's a little grueling on the brain of trying to figure out what to do and how to keep fit and keep motivated. And I've found a lot of cooking is like my big thing. So you've had many a meal.
Indeed. Yeah, it's been delicious.
Doing all of that, making pasta from scratch and all of, ravioli, and trying to find ways to make the time go by and still work on things and connect with people that I don't normally get to connect with, and use the time that I've been given, because it can be used as a blessing, even though it's a global pandemic.
Yeah, and then things got kind of really, well, we all know, and we're still living in it. So I'm going to bring in Robin and Charlotte in here, because they are our mental wellness and health gurus, and Dayna too, just sort of your kind of, because you did get a very good view on how economically Winnipeg was doing, although you have to boost them up. So what did you do, or was it just sort of like,
you know what, when we sent our staff home, and it was March 16th that our staff, we had a staff meeting in the morning, and we decided that it was the right thing to have our staff go home and work from home. It was really kind of a wait and see piece. What businesses were going to be able to operate? How are we going to function? We're, under my umbrella is also Tourism Winnipeg. So, we talk about that industry that's been totally decimated. And that's been really tough. And we're working really hard to try to get that group back up and running. And, we're doing a Winnipeg Will Save Your Summer campaign, really encouraging Winnipeggers to go out and be a tourist in their own city, and really support that industry. But on the economic development side, we also had to look at, there were certain companies that had to operate throughout the pandemic. So Price Industries makes HVAC systems for hospitals and, air circulation systems. So they had to operate throughout. All of our ag companies, Richardson International, also operated throughout. And there wasn't rules in place for these companies. There wasn't a guidebook to say, keep everybody 6 feet apart. This is what you're supposed to do. This is how it will all be okay. They really had to put their heads together and figure it out on their own. And we have so many great success stories in Winnipeg of businesses who operated throughout, and there was never any outbreaks. There were never any big, incidents that they had to deal with. And I'm so proud of our business community for doing that. And they shared those expertise with their colleagues, and they shared their thought process with other CEOs. And we've seen that in Winnipeg. We've seen people come together and really understand how to operate throughout this. So, that was part of the kind of get through it piece. And now as we're starting to come out and we're starting to figure out, what's acceptable and what's not acceptable, we're starting to see that again. And we're really trying to support some of the industries that have just been really hit hard by this, and getting people to understand how to keep themselves safe so that we can go back and support some of those arts organizations, and we can go back to support our attractions, and we can make sure that our small businesses, whether they're restaurants or cafes or bakeries, that they can get through this time until we're fully open again. So that's really where our focus is right now.
Yeah, well, and it's tough because I think everybody has a different opinion now, right? It's not the same. And I guess Robin and Charlotte, right? It's not going to be back to normal, or right? She's shaking her head, Robin.
It's not going to be back to normal, and what's normal anyway? Everyone has a different normal.
Mm-hmm.
Can I share a story about the business before I have a chat about that, Tracy? I just want to say I love that video because a couple of years ago, Charlotte and I were at a conference and she went, "Want to start a business?" And I went, "Sure." And she goes, "You have to move to Winnipeg." And I went, "Okay." And I moved my life in 2 months, and we started our business, and we just went, screw this, we're going to give up our jobs and we're just going to have fun. And Winnipeg's been such a lovely place. There's such a cool feel about it. And this is the 4th country I've lived in and the 10th country I've worked in. And I love Winnipeg. And I travel around the world. They go, "Where do you live?" And I go, "Winnipeg." And everyone's like, "Where's that?" And I'm like, "This is a cool little town." In thinking about the tourism stuff, I was working so hard on us creating the business. I realized about a month ago, I was talking to Charlotte and I went, "I've never even hardly gone out. I think I've been to, sorry, Dayna, 3 Bombers games, and I love football. I'm hadn't been out to many restaurants." So actually, weirdly enough, I've started going out more in the last month than I ever have in Winnipeg, and finding cool little places that have great social distancing. On, what day is today? Tuesday, sorry. On Sunday, I went to the Cargo Bar in Assiniboine Park, and lots of distance, lots of cleaning stuff. And I was like, we can still do stuff. We just have to be cautious, right? And careful with what we're doing. And I think what I see here is people really stepping up to do things that support the community to still have their summer. Because I've learned Canada closes in summer because everyone's outside going, sun. But yeah, it's been beautiful to watch Winnipeg stand up and look at what they do. And I think, is there a normal? I don't think there ever was. Everyone was doing their own thing, but everyone thought there was control. We've never had control over anything but ourselves. But what I see now is most people being respectful and responsible and taking a look at it. And I think what I see is communities come together in a different way. Like when we used to have like communities years ago and then we kind of pulled apart, we've come back together. And although it's a bit more virtual, I watch people connect differently now than they used to. And that's beautiful. I watch people call up and go, do you want to have a virtual coffee? Do you want to have a virtual drink? People that haven't spoken to each other in ages are reconnecting because we're having to create different ways of being together. So, yeah, I don't know if I made any sense. I was just gibbering, right?
I think that's fantastic, and I love hearing your impression of Winnipeg. I love, you know, when people ask me why Winnipeg, and I could go on for hours about why Winnipeg, but if anyone asks where it is, you know, it is the geographic center of North America. So everyone else needs to get with the program. And I love to hear that you're going out and exploring. I mean, I think one of the things our businesses have done really well is they are taking all the precautions that we need to take to keep everybody safe. And I think that's what we do. I mean, that's what Winnipeg has always done. So whether there's a snowstorm or whether there's a flood or whether, you know, we have trees start to fall down, you see people kind of come out of their homes and go help each other with no expectation, you know, and COVID has been no different. We've done an incredible job of keeping our distance and following the rules and doing what we were told. And, you know, it's very different, I think, depending on where you are in the world right now, what your experience with COVID has been. I mean, I can't imagine being in New York. Everyone that I know in New York has headed for the hills. They're all in the Hamptons and they're locked up there somewhere. But I can't imagine being in that space. You know, here we opened up, my staff have been back in the office since June 1st. And you know, we're socially distancing and we're being respectful, but we're able to get back at it. And I think, you know, it's a testament to what we've been able to do as a community to get through this.
No, and again, you hit it too, Dayna. It's just kind of getting back into some kind of routine, right, Susie? She kind of, yeah. And then there's still everybody trying to figure out what's going to happen, and you just can't.
And I personally find that I'm not thinking too far in the future at present. I'm literally just going, okay, so what does today look like? This is going to be a great day. I've got dinner happening. I've got a party later. And, you know, if I set my sights, yes, I do have a plan for the next 12 months, but I'm also totally aware that going back into live studio, and as much as, you know, we are aiming to do that come September, right through May with our programming, it could shift again overnight. So I'm aligning myself with a lot of really solid videographers, really strong technicians who can help me with, you know, this piece of technology. They're called my sons. They're my boys. Oh. One of them is a filmmaker already. So it's like, way to go. And it's, you move into surviving with learning new tools. And we're all doing, I think, professional development in many different ways. I've taken more webinars and Zoom sessions than I've done in my entire life. I've met professionals from outside of this community. I was on a call with Chita Rivera, who is one of my heroes. I was on a video chat with her. And I just basically, now my life can end because I've met the person who I have aspired to be like, and she's now 87. Wow. So, you know, it happened through a program like what I'm doing with Maiden Management Masterclass. I just signed on to another version of that was coming out of the States, and she was a special guest, and I pushed my way to get on that screen with her. It was, as I'm really good at doing.
I know, you delete. Oh my God, that's hilarious. Wow. I mean,
I think it's the adaptability of people that's coming through, and the flexibility. Because we're starting to plan a little, but we also may change, right? If I think about Auckland, New Zealand's been amazing. Lockdown, boom. They had 4 cases yesterday in Auckland, a city of 1.5 million. They've gone to lockdown again, straight away, boom. right, to try and squash it. And people were like, oh, we're living our lives, we're completely open. And now today we're not. So I think that adaptability and flexibility of people is amazing. Like in Australia, they've had the football happening, I don't know, 6 weeks now. And a lot of them were happening in Melbourne. Melbourne had its like interesting outbreak. They pulled all the football teams out like that day and moved them to another city to try and lock them down there. So it's that flexibility. And I think that's what we're going to have to live with for now, right? So
Wow.
it's not soccer, Charlotte, you smarty pants. It's Aussie rules, mate, and rugby. But yeah, I think that's one of the big things that we're seeing is people's resilience around being more flexible than they've ever been and adaptable, because they have to be.
Mm-hmm. Now I'm wondering.
And that's an interesting thing, like from a parenting perspective, right? So it's one thing for adults to adjust to that new way of thinking, but now I as a parent have to transfer that same kind of resiliency and don't get too attached to this idea to my children, and saying that, okay, so I know school's supposed to start in a couple of weeks, but I'm not rushing to get school supplies right now. Like, I am not going to get my hopes up on anything really happening until we get that email from the school, until Dr. Brent Rusin has, really kind of had a couple of weeks with these new cases out in Brandon, making sure they don't spread. Like, I am exactly like you said, Robin, like I'm feeling hopeful, I suppose, but at the same time, there's a little piece of me that says, don't get too hopeful because it could change. So be prepared just in case, like prepare for the best and prepare for the worst, however that phrase goes. But yeah, like it's one of those things to tell the kids, like, this is what we hope will happen, but please keep in mind that might not happen. So we have to be, not too disappointed. And it's okay to be sad. It's okay to be mad. It's okay to miss your friends. It's okay to be sad that there's not going to be, that first day of school excitement, but we will get through it and we will get past it and it will be okay. I think that's really, really essential for us to model that behavior for the younger people in our lives right now, and anybody else who needs it, really. Yeah.
No, that's I think a really sign of the times of where we're living in. Dayna, I was going to ask you now too, and as maybe it's just not, or encouraging the young entrepreneurs, the next generation, right, of the of the businessmen and women, that are leaders right now. What does that look like, and is there kind of a campaign or thought too around that?
You know what, we're doing a lot of work on that front now, Tracy, just supporting some of the young entrepreneurs that are out there. So we work very closely with North Forge, who has got a bunch of startup programs to try to help people, shepherd their ideas and commercialize them. We've seen during this pandemic a lot of startups that are doing very, very well. I mean, if they're technology based, this is the greatest time to be exercising those muscles, right? We've looked at, Bold Commerce, who does all the back office work for Shopify, Ubisoft, who makes video games. A bunch of their employees are doing really cool things that we're trying to support and get behind. So, we're always going to do those programs. North Forge is really going to take the lead in helping people get from that cool idea stage to being able to start a business, and we're being cheerleaders whenever we can. Another really cool thing that's happening right now is called aqua hacking. It's a Lake Winnipeg challenge, and what we've done is we've gone out to entrepreneurs and tech people and said, we know that Lake Winnipeg is suffering. We know that there are too many plastics in the lake. We have an algae problem in the lake. We have a nutrient problem in the lake. And rather than looking at people, the water scientists and everyone that we've kind of gone to historically for 50 years to help us solve this problem, through the Institute of Sustainable Development, we've kind of turned that on its head and said, let's give it to the tech guys. Why don't you ask them how we fix this problem? And so there's 5 teams that are now the finalists in this aqua hacking competition. They're going to present their ideas to judges in October, and we're going to try to help them start businesses out of these cool ideas. One of the things that we've learned is that the microplastics that are getting into the lake happen from washing clothes, like especially fleece and mountain equipment stuff and all the stuff that we think is very granola stereotypically, is not good for the lake because all these particles break off in your washing machine. So they did this competition for Lake Erie in Ontario, and one of these tech guys invented a filter, a very simple filter that Whirlpool ended up buying the rights to, that sticks onto your washing machine to catch all that stuff before it goes into the water system. So there's cool things that are happening. We're trying to challenge our young people and trying to get behind them. And if they have great ideas, we're trying to help them start those businesses. So all that stuff is going on, and this pandemic has proved a great time for that too.
Oh, well, that's great news. It's super because, yeah, you kind of wonder about all these great minds, right? And how to inspire them, in times like this. And so, yeah, Brenda, so, I mean, creatively, don't you have like some sort of wonderful musical about COVID-19, like starring Jaz and Mary, involving some cooking or something, right?
That's right. We can tie all those skills together. It could be a cooking musical.
Yeah.
I know you're talking about the young entrepreneurs coming up with ideas. I'm going, I'm not a young one, but I feel like I'm never stopping to be an entrepreneur. And the next musical I want to create is called Seniorously, the musical.
I think that's fantastic.
I know. So there'll be spots for everybody to join in with that as well. I think you hit it on the head, Dayna, and Robin, in terms of the fact that we have to be versatile. I think that's one of the things that artists have learned from day one. It's really rare to score a long run show like Jaz has been part of. It's so rare in the industry to be part of a single contract. You actually have to go week to week, sometimes day to day. Contracts shift so much. We've got such a strong film industry here. I know that Mary has come back, and like all of a sudden she's auditioning for movies, and probably we'll be seeing her in Filmland before. I don't know, Mary, can you brag about that again?
I think just in general, the film production here in Winnipeg is amazing because the province is able to keep the COVID numbers contained. So literally there's more work here right now than in New York City because they're not able to produce just yet. So this is one of the very first places that is able to continue. Amazing.
Mary, that's exactly right. I mean, we're working with film companies. Netflix is one of the ones that we've done a lot of work with recently because they've had to postpone all their production. And we've got these protocols in place. So June 15th, we were able to open up production in Winnipeg. We also have an incredible tax credit that incents filmmakers to come from other jurisdictions and film here. So we're pushing that as well. And I'm glad that you're back, and I hope there's great opportunities because I think, this is going to be a great place to be. And we've seen the Hallmark movies that have been filming, in the last month, and there's a few others that we're trying to work on. So I think that's pretty exciting.
Wow.
Yeah, and in fact, I think both Mary and I are auditioning for Hallmark tomorrow. Is it Hallmark tomorrow or something?
Oh, I'm not auditioning tomorrow, but you go get it, girl. Go get it.
Okay. I'm auditioning. I'm a lawyer. I'm playing a lawyer tomorrow.
Oh, how appropriate. Yes.
Yeah, and I happen to have everybody in my family as a lawyer, so I'm channeling my husband, my brothers, my sister-in-laws, my nephews. I'm the only non-lawyer in my family. Well, I guess through osmosis, I am going to be going for these roles. What can I say? Yeah.
Oh, Charlotte, let's hear from you. How have you been doing?
I'm good. Thanks for asking, Tracy. I was just so many great conversations coming out from today. My head was just going to something that Dayna was mentioning earlier, and we're seeing a huge increase in our business community coming forward and wanting to create more peer programs in their organizations to support their employees, especially now with COVID. And so, I mean, I'm a huge supporter of peer support, as you've known me for many, many years, and I'm thrilled to see it starting to come into more corporations and organizations. We're working with a major organization in Manitoba right now to create an amazing support network for members of their community, and Robin and I will be so excited to announce it. It's actually someone we met on your show earlier, Tracy, so we've been working on that and want to roll that one out. and thrilled that more Manitoba companies are taking notice of us. I was holding Robin back. She was considering moving to, there's 2 provinces that we get a lot of work from, and she was like, I'm considering it. I'm like, no, give Manitoba more of a chance. So I'm thrilled she's here, and she's loving it now that she's explored more of Manitoba. But you know what, like I said, more people are taking a harder look at their own mental health and their organization's mental health. And I think we're going to see a lot more great changes come from that.
Yeah, no doubt. Oh, and that's a huge part too, mental health and wellness. And I just want to quickly ask Mary and Jaz, what will it be like when you finally step on that stage in front of an audience? What'll it be like shades of your very, very first time?
I have no idea what it's gonna be like. I think so. We're finding out right now. At least I'm finding out. There's space for it all. There's space for everything. There's space for all of the feelings, where you're scared to come back, but you're thrilled to come back, and you've been waiting to come back, but oh, maybe I could sleep for another day. Oh, wait, I haven't kicked my face in a long time. Like all of the feelings, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's all of those feelings. I'm wondering what my cardio will be like, because it's always so show specific.
Yeah.
And also just like what the theater will actually be like, what the protocols will be backstage, what the protocols will be front of house, how many people will be in the audience at a time, if it's with vaccine or not. We'll be performing to 500 people in a 1,500 person theater, or will we have a packed house? I have no idea. Will we be performing with masks on? I think that'll be weird to try to sing with a mask on. You'd really have to move when it's your
Yeah, you really got to use those eyes, Jaz, and the jazz hands, right?
Yeah, but I'm intrigued to see what it'll be. And in the meantime, I'm sure there's lots of little incremental steps that we'll have as a chance to, you know, maybe do an outdoor performance or something, or a showcase and things like that.
Cabaret, the little things sometimes.
Yeah.
Easy back in.
Yeah. Well, I think, Dayna, because you are always in conversation with Dr. Rusin, I mean, I think they have done something for theaters, you know, social distancing. I'm not too sure right now where it stands, but really, as Brenda said, like really none of the theaters are doing anything. Is that correct?
So we're trying, they're trying to get back to a certain capacity come fall. And, you know, we're just trying to look out for some of those institutions, right? You know, some of our arts community doesn't have the balance sheet, doesn't have the, you know, the reserve funds that can get them through too much of this time. So we really want to try to find a way to support those organizations, you know, whether it's MTC or the ballet or the symphony or the opera, all those things. The symphonies come out and they've announced a schedule. They're going to do some of that, you know, with very small shows. They're going to do some that are bigger, and I hope it works out for them. And I hope that we find a way to support that. You know, we're looking at it. The Bell MTS Center last year had 150 nights booked for concerts and events, and now they have 1. So the impact of that is significant, you know, and football has been what I've been living and breathing the last couple of weeks. And, you know, we're a revenue driven league. So the fact that we can't get bums in seats, even outdoors, to watch football, you know, it's going to impact everything that we do indoors. So we're currently trying to, you know, feel our way through and trying to do what we can to keep everybody alive and solvent enough that we get through this. And, you know, in the arts are some organizations that really need our help and our support. So we're really going to throw our effort behind that as we go forward into the fall.
Wow. Anyways, and I was just going to quickly ask Dayna, did you ever think in your wildest dreams you would have a Grey Cup ring? Like, didn't you say that, 10 years old, I am going to be the first one of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers?
Yeah, no, if you would have told me, you know, 3 years ago that I'd have a Grey Cup ring, I would have thought you were crazy. So I had no idea. I never thought that football would be where I would get so much attention. So it's like what everyone said, right? You've got to adapt, you've got to go with the flow, and you've got to take advantage of those opportunities, you know, when they come in front of you. And this has been an incredible ride. And so I'm very grateful to have been part of the team and, you know, and got to be in the right place at the right time when they happened to get their act together and win a Grey Cup.
Yeah, they most certainly did, right? It didn't look good at first, but
and
we'll take
it's
it.
a great lesson it's a great lesson to say yes, even when you're scared and don't necessarily even know what's going to happen. Take the chance, say yes, and whatever will be, will be.
Yeah. And try those new experiences because you
Yep.
never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. I completely
Love
agree.
it.
Well, Tracy, it seems to me your husband has a Grey Cup ring. Am I correct about
He
that?
now has 2.
Oh, yeah, he now has 2 in this year. You know, I don't know if this will do it justice, but
Oh boy.
there you go.
Oh.
The little teeny one is his 84 Grey Cup, and then his ring is just like Dayna's. although he has his nickname. He doesn't have First Woman. He's got Tin Man. Sorry, Kevin. Sorry, I let that out of the hat. Tin Man is his nickname, but I know. See how big they are? They're huge. But anyways,
Beautiful.
yes. Hey, so it's all good. You know, it's kind of, and it was a beautiful little presentation on last Thursday night with the board members at Wade's house, and you know, it was you just forgot about everything, right, Dayna? Like it was just a nice little summer evening, and everybody was happy, and
And just to get that chance to come together and celebrate this, and you know, this wasn't the way we thought we would be Grey Cup champions. We thought we'd be back on the field and fighting it out, and you know, we felt like we built a really great team, and this was going to be the year that, you know, everyone would be able to see that it was not fluke. It was a lot of hard work that went into putting this team together. So not at all what we wanted, not at all what we hoped for, but to be able to get out and you know, sharing the excitement again of what last November looked like, and celebrate with our rings. It was pretty special.
Yeah. You know, and Dayna, I just wanted to, and everybody can chime in, is that it'd be kind of nice just to do some sort of documentation of all of the things, the businesses, the people in Winnipeg, how we have been resilient. We hear those words, how we have been empathetic and learned respect, and, you know, maybe it's acceptance without understanding. That's another, you know, phrase that we come upon. And even like young people like Mary and Jaz, it's so nice to have you here too. I mean, it's because you're the future, right? And you know, your takeaway from 2020 is going to be very, very interesting, and it's something that you'll never forget, and you'll pass on to your kids and friends, and you know, and it's because you have great mentors like Brenda, you know, and I mean, it's everything comes full circle, and the great work that Charlotte and Robin are doing. Who would have, if I said to you 3 years ago, you are going to be the center of attraction and everybody's going to be listening to you, maybe you would have laughed at me, or maybe you said, sure.
I was working in Guam and Palau, and I was sitting in the sun.
Oh.
And then I was like, oh, let me move to Winnipeg because I hear it's really warm in December.
Yeah.
It's on today. It's very warm. It's beautiful today.
I know. We can't complain. The summer's been great. You know, Mother Nature has been really, really good to us in that sense. So, yes. But anyways, it's been so nice to see everybody, and, you know, to share your stories, and, you know, any words of wisdom, Susie. I always look to you. You always leave us with something to think about. And I have to admit, all your baking, like, girl, why don't you open up your own, like, pop-up foodie thing?
You didn't see, you're not on Facebook today, so you didn't see the image that I posted today, but someone sent me a poster that said, I bake because murder is wrong. And I have to say, it cracked me up so hard this morning. It was exactly what I needed to see, because it was very funny. But yes, there's been a lot of stress baking going on. I did have chocolate cake for breakfast today, and I'm not even a little bit sorry about that. And I baked cookies the other day, and yeah, a lot of stress baking. But as far as, you know, like wisdom and, you know, all those warm, fuzzy feelings, I just, I think that a lot of us are preparing for September, right? Whatever that means, whether it's back to work or back to school or whatever. If you're looking for work, whatever that means, is that we have a few more weeks left of summer, and that we should enjoy that sunshine. We have had some great weather lately. We can get outside, explore our province, take a ride, take a walk, take a bike ride, take a run, and just get out there and enjoy that fresh air and be with the people that you love and enjoy, and try something new. Try a different neighborhood, try a different, quadrant of the city that you're not used to, and just get lost where we live and have fun.
Oh yeah, and be safe.
Absolutely.
I know.
Yeah, wearing your mask, sanitizer, all those good things.
I love that message. If you go to tourismwinnipeg.com, we have 101 things to go do in Winnipeg this summer. So I promise you there are some that you've never done before. It's a great way to get out and be a tourist in your own city and really support the businesses who need us right now.
So if you're looking for any bakery recommendations, hit me up. I'll let you know where to go.
Yeah, me too.
So Dayna, how many places has Charlie visited?
You know what? He's doing more and more. He's getting dragged along to a lot of places that he never thought he would go to as well. So
that's good.
Yeah, there's tons to do. I was at Fort White Alive last week, and people are there paddling, and I just, it's been so long since I've been there and realized how beautiful it was and all the things you can do. So there's a bunch of those recommendations. Go check them out, and you won't be disappointed.
Well, I think that's what we'll do. And good luck, Brenda. Brenda, when are those master classes again next week?
They are August 17th through 21st. And then we are hosting an info session, a Zoom info session for our season on August 26th to help celebrate our Broadway Without Borders initiative.
Oh,
so all of that information is on our winnipegstudiotheater.com website.
Perfect. Well, I'll be in touch then about that too. So
Perfect.
Good luck. And
Thank you.
Again, good luck, Jazz and Mary, and look forward to seeing you on stage soon. Yes. Yeah. And always a pleasure, Robin and Charlotte. Great to see you. We'll see everybody next Tuesday. We have a very interesting conference that's going to be happening next week. Yeah, so it's all about projecting and going and navigating all of the different waters for businesses, and especially businesses that have Black employees, and how you can create a better and safer workplace for everyone. So yeah, it'll be really interesting. All right. So enjoy the week, enjoy the weather, enjoy Winnipeg.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you so much.
All right. Good luck. Bye-bye.